नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। यथाग्निर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या सर्वविद्यास्वरूपान्तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। ओम नमो भगवते रामकृष्णाय। सर्वेषां हार्दं स्वागतं व्याहरामः। पूज्यचरणेभ्यः स्वामिपादेभ्यः विनम्रं नमस्काराः। विभागीयेभ्यः सम्मान्येभ्यः विद्वद्भ्यः अध्यापकेभ्यः अध्यापिकायै च नमस्काराः। प्रियेभ्यः छात्रेभ्यः शोधकर्तृभ्यश्च शुभाशयाः। रामकृष्ण मिशन विवेकानंद शैक्षणिक शोध संस्थाने संस्कृत दर्शन विभागे अद्य विशिष्टं व्याख्यानम् आयोजितं विद्यते। इमं कार्यक्रमं पवित्र वेदमन्त्रपाठेन प्रारभामहे। मन्त्रपाठार्थम् आहूयन्ते छात्राः।
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम मधुवाता ऋतायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नः सन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तमुतोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिवगुं रजः मधुद्योरस्तु नः पिता मधुमान्नो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुम् अस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम ब्रह्मा देवानां पदवी कवीनां ऋषिर्विप्राणां महिषो मृगाणां शेनो गृध्राणागुस्वदितिर्वनानागुं सोमः पवित्रमत्येतिरेभन्न अजामे काल्लोहितशुक्लकृष्णां भव्यीं प्रजां जनयन्ति गुं स्वरूपाम् अजो ह्येको जुषमाणो नुषेते जहात्येनां भुक्तभोगामजोऽन्यः हगुंसशुचिषद्वसुरन्तरिक्षसद्धोता वेदिषदतिथिर्दुरोणसत् नृषद्वरसधृतसद्व्योमसदब्जा गोजा ऋतजा अद्रिजा घृतं बृहत् घृतं मिमिक्षिरे घृतमस्य योनिर्घृते श्रितो घृतमुपस्य धाम अनुष्वधमावहमादयस्व स्वाहा कृतं वृषभवक्षि हव्यम् समुद्रादूर्मिर्मधुमागुम् उदारदुपागुं शुना सममृतत्वमानट घृतस्य नाम गुह्यं यदस्ति जिह्वा देवानाममृतस्य नाभिः वयन्नाम प्रब्रवामा घृतेनास्मिन् यज्ञे धारयामा नमोभिः उपब्रह्मा शृण्वच्छस्य मानं चतुःशृङ्गो वमीद्गौर एतत् चत्वारि शृङ्गात्रयो अस्य पादा द्वे शीर्षे सप्तहस्तासो अस्य त्रिधा बद्धो वृषभोरोढवीति महो देवो मर्त्यागुम् आविवेश ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
सस्वरं वेदपाठं कृतवद्भ्यः छात्रेभ्यः धन्यवादाः। सम्प्रति श्रीमद् शङ्करभगवत्पादविरचितं तोटकाष्टकं गायति स्वामी सर्वभद्रानन्दमहाराजः। अस्य मानितविश्वविद्यालयस्य अङ्कीयतन्त्रकेन्द्रं डिजिटल् टेक्नालजि सेण्टर् इत्यस्य प्रमुखाः इमे। स्वामिनः छात्राश्च इदं स्तोत्रं गायन्ति। स्वामिनः
विदिता किल शास्त्र शंकर
श्रीमद् शंकर भगवत्पादानां स्तुतिरूपं तोटकाष्टकम् इदं गीतं सुमधुरं गीतवते सर्वभद्रानंद महाराजाय धन्यवादाः। सम्प्रति स्वागतवचः अपि च प्रारम्भिकं माङ्गलिकं च वदन्ति श्रीमद् आत्मप्रियानंद स्वामी चरणाः प्रतिकुलाधिपतयः प्रो चान्सलर।
ॐ तं देशिकेन्द्रं परमं पवित्रं विश्वस्य पालं मधुरं यतीन्द्रं हिताय नृणां नरमूर्तिमन्तं विवेक आनन्दमहं नमामि। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। It's a very special day. After repeated requests, we have been able to bring Pujaniya Swami Padmanabhanandaji Maharaj all the way from Rishikesh to Calcutta. He is visiting Calcutta, he said, after 60 years. Sivananda Ashrama, as you know, is a very renowned spiritual place in Rishikesh. There Swami Sivanandaji, as Swami Bhajananandi was mentioning yesterday, was the first person to combine yoga and Vedanta. Yoga and Vedanta proverbially at the loggerheads, because Vedanta believes in jigyasa and yoga believes in anushasanam. This is an insight from Swami Bhajananandaji again. So Vedanta is inquiry, open-ended inquiry like in science. Athato Brahma jigyasa. You inquire into Brahman, the nature of Brahman, with an open mind and realize the layers of Brahman at the Taittiriya Upanishad, as you know. Whereas yoga is a protocol. Protocol is a modern translation for anushasanam. So certain steps are prescribed, so do this, and therefore it is becoming extremely popular in the West, where people believe in protocol. In science they have open-ended inquiry. As far as religion is concerned, spirituality is concerned, they believe in protocol. Tell me what I should do. That's why perhaps Vedanta has not picked it up so much in the West as yoga has picked it up in the recent years. You tell me what I should do. So when there's lectures on Vedanta in the West, people say, Swami, you spoke so well. It's excellent. But what should we do? And Shankara says, you don't have to do anything. And interestingly, he says towards the end of the Gita Bhashya, Tasmad Jnanaya Yatna Na Kartabhyaha. So don't make an effort to cultivate jnana. So what should you do? Ajnana Nivaranayeva. Because jnana, Atman is swasamvedya, svatasiddha, and therefore you don't have to prove the existence of the Atman. In the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, in the beginning he says, in a sense everybody is an Atmagya. Everybody says I, and therefore everybody is an Atmagya. Then why is inquiry required? Inquiry is required because people do not understand the real nature, the Swarupa of the Atman. To be able to understand the Swarupa of the Atman, you need to inquire. So Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, proverbially they are the steps to the realization of the Atman, as you know. And interestingly, the Upanishads speak of seeing, not realizing in a sense, what we in modern language which we use. Atma va are drashtavyaha tasmin drishte paravare. Everywhere the drisha dhatu is used, which means you can have pratyaksha, direct perception of the Atman. You can see when Narendra went to Swami Sri Ramakrishna and asked, "Have you seen God?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "I have seen him, but much more intensely than I see you." And he added, "I can show him to you." That is the challenge of the rishis. Not that I can see, you cannot see. I have seen Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. And he also says, if you want peace, if you want joy, the only way is realization of your own self. Unless you realize the Atman within, you cannot have peace, you cannot have joy. Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya, there is no other way by which you can attain peace, you can attain joy. Tameva viditva amritatvameti. But Sri Ramakrishna added, but who wants to see him? The problem why we are not able to realize God is not because we are not being effort, but we don't want. If you really want him, you can get him. Yamevesha vrunate tena labhyaha, interpreted by Ramanuja as grace of God, interpreted by Shankara as really wanting God. If you really long for him, and the Bhashya uses the word, very significant word, which is a favorite of Sri Ramakrishna, tat prarthanaya. You pray, intense vyakulata, you pray to God. If you really want him, you will get him. But we want so many things. Whatever you want, you will get. Swami Vivekananda very interestingly says in the inspired talks, he says, please don't desire anything. What we normally expect is if you desire and if you don't get, you will be frustrated, you will be unhappy. No. Please don't desire anything, because whatever you desire, you will get. For which you have to come again and again. So desirelessness, total abandonment of all desires, sarva sankalpa sannyasi, the sankalpa has to be given up. So Vedanta is a thing in which there is nothing to do, but you have to long for that infinite. So here is a tradition which initiated by Swami Sivanandaji of Rishikesh, in which he combined the practical aspects of yoga with the philosophical and spiritual aspects of Vedanta, and coming from such a great tradition, he is now the vice president of the Divine Life Society. He has been a very active general secretary till recently. When I used to see him, he used to do all kinds of works. Can you guess how old is he? He is only 89. And very active, mentally alert, travels nowadays more frequently than earlier. And he says, I am now so relaxed, I have given up the general secretaryship, but I have to slowly guide the next man who is in that seat. So we are privileged and blessed to have Swami Padmanabhanandaji in our midst. And he said, I will speak on the content of the Vedas, the concept of Ṛtam. Yesterday also Swami Bhajananandaji, the vice president of Ramakrishna Order, he was also here. These two vice presidents of two great traditions, and all the sadhus of the university center, we had a very interesting discussion on the concept of Ṛtam. So today he will speak on the content of the Vedas, the concept of Ṛtam. So I invite Swami Padmanabhanandaji, who can speak in Sanskrit fluently, but he has been out of touch for quite some time. He is a great scholar of the Bhagavatam. Almost he knows it by heart, Swamiji. So people from Kerala usually know the Bhagavatam by heart, most of them. He is no exception. So he will speak on the content of the Vedas, the concept of Ṛtam, and he will speak in English. Om. 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Gungurubhyo Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannu Sadanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gudave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Shantatmanam Pranadasulabham Siddhavidya Prabhavam Bhaswadrupam Sugunadalayam Dvastakarmadivargam Prajnavratam Nijasamadrisham Taradam Tyagibhadyam Sakshatu Yisham Mamagudvadam Shivanandam Natosmi. Shivanandam Natosmi. Om. My humble prostration to Bhagavan Ramakrishna Deva. My prostrations at the holy feet of Swami Vivekanandaji. And my prostrations to the divine presence in every one of you here. So I will share some of my thoughts on the content of the Vedas and little emphasis on Ṛtam. It's a big subject. And as you know that although there are 140 crores of people in India, very few have gotten access into the Vedas. And it is an oral tradition. Even those who know, they may not be knowing the meaning of it, what it speaks about much. Very few will be knowing about it. So we will try to find out what exactly it is. So some of my thoughts on those things, as I could understand, sitting at the feet of great masters. So I will share with you. Normally when you ask someone, what is the content of the Vedas, what it speaks about, what the Vedas speaks about, especially the Samhita. Now, because of the institutions like Ramakrishna Mission, Divine Life Society, and some other scholars, there is some knowledge about the Vedanta aspect coming about. But when you go to the Samhita aspect of Vedas, what exactly it is, many do not have much knowledge. And the Vedas are also so big. Ananta vai Vedaha. So Veda is also Ananta. And many of those things have been lost. Very few are available. So what it speaks about, if you inquire, if you ask anyone, many may not be knowing, even the scholars may not be knowing much. Some ideas will be there here and there. So all these lectures will help to people to go deep into the subject actually. That's what I feel actually. It's not to enlighten anybody. I share my thoughts with you, and many of you are scholarly people. So some of you can think about it. What does it mean? What it contains like that. So normally when someone, ordinary person, has an idea, will think that Veda speaks about philosophy, Veda speaks about God, and something about the other worlds. But when you see the mantras, we find that it speaks more about the world than the philosophy actually. So one of the commentators has given what it contains. One of the commentators says, so the Veda speaks about Ishta Prapti Anishta Padiharayoho Alaukikam Upayam Veda. Sarva Devata Sarmasya Parabrahma Tattvasya Pradipadakam Veda. So it speaks about Ishta Prapti Anishta Padiharayoho Alaukikam Upayam. It's not a Laukika Upaya, it is a supramundane technique. So if you take any living being here, whether it is human or subhuman, even plants. What they want actually. So all of us want to be happy. Sukham me bhuya, dukkham ma bhut. So we all want to be happy actually. So how to be happy then? So we have wants actually. Not only we, even the trees, even the animals, they want to be comfortable, they want to be happy, they want to be independent. So that alone gives it the sukha. So we want that sukha, and that we achieve by acquiring what we want, ishta prapti and anishta parihara. So this is your requirement. Your requirement is you want freedom, you want happiness, and you don't want dukkha. And it speaks about that. Mainly it speaks about that. Then they say, Sakala Devata Dharmasya. It speaks about the Devatas. So Devata Shabda as Vayakarana, you know it actually, Divya Jayati Deva. So that's some superintending principles, the subtler aspect of what we see here. So it speaks about that, and also the ultimate reality. So the primary subject handled, the primary discussion is mainly, especially on the Samhitas, the primary discussion is on the worldly things, how to be happy. So then it boils down to this. We want to be happy. I want to be happy. You want to be happy. Everything here wants to be happy. So because we all want to be happy, you should not earn your happiness by disturbing the other person. You have the freedom to earn your happiness, to acquire what you want, but you should not acquire at the cost of the other person. That is the fundamental thing. So that they have later on put it into 4 compartments: dharma, artha, kama, moksha, like that. So artha, kama, all our requirements boils down to 2 things: artha, materials, and kama, emotional needs. So the material needs for the body and the mind, and the emotional things, artha and kama. So when you earn your artha kama to make you happy, do not deprive the other person of his happiness. It should not be at the expense of the other person. That is the first thing actually. That is where the dharma comes. In fact, Ṛtam is the subtler aspect of it actually. The subtler aspect actually. The first mantra of the Atharva Veda, the Shaunaka, I think. It's a very common mantra. Sanno Devi Rapishtaye, Apo Bhavantu Pitaye. Apo Bhavantu Pitaye, they say. Let the water be Pana Yogya. Let the water be potable. Why should we say that? Why let the water be potable? Why should we say that? It implies that you don't pollute it. You don't pollute it. Actually, the water, those who have a engineering background or background of chemistry, they know the water is polluted. When it is polluted, it will automatically, it will purify itself. When it is polluted, it will absorb oxygen from the atmosphere, and it will become all right actually. So all the water treatment and the sewage treatment plants, they actually their system works by allowing this polluted thing to absorb oxygen from the atmosphere and to purify itself. So the purification process It's not much done by us. It is done by the nature itself. The water gets, you and me pollute the water, and then the water gets purified. Water becomes all right. It becomes potable by absorbing oxygen from the atmosphere only. So everything is happening here actually. It is naturally happening. Our contribution to set right that is very limited actually. So there's a prayer. Many times we pray to say. Then they say, yesterday I was mentioning also. There is a statement which is Apova idagum sarvam. So everything is water. And then they say that let the water be potable. Similarly, they say Apa pavitra agnina bhutaha. So apa pavitra, water is pure. And some reason it is get bacterial load or something comes, you boil it and make it all right. Likewise, it touches upon all aspects of the fire, the earth, all these things. So ultimately this Samhita speaks about that we should conduct ourselves in such a way that we don't disturb anything much. We should be in harmony with everything here. That harmony, our life here should be such that it is in harmony with everything here. One interesting story I will share with you. It is later on when it comes to, in the Vedas, the statements are very abstract actually. So those abstract subjects are handled little more easier way to understand us in the form of stories, in the later Smritis and Puranas, etc. One of the story I will share with you. There was a king, and the good old days. So, and then population was not there. And Brahma tells him, may you have progeny. So, then he had 10,000 children. So don't ask that question, how can 10,000 children be there for anyone? That logic won't work. It is beyond that logic. So their name was called Prachetas. So they went, when you have progeny, when you have children, then they went for tapasya. So the story is like that. So they did tapasya for thousands of years. So and then they got that revelation, they became realized. And when they opened their eyes, they found the trees have grown so tall and thick, and they could not find, it was totally dark. They could not find out whether it is day or night. So they looked around, nothing they could see. They want to go back now. How to go back? There is no light. The trees have gone so rich in flora, and then there is no light. So they became angry and they started burning the trees. When they were burning the trees, then Brahma came there. And so he said, what are you doing? You are burning these trees. Then do you know how I created? He said. So I have created 3 species. One is they have only feet. They have feet. And the second one I created with hand. One is without feet, one with feet, and the third with hand. So the plants, the grass has no feet. The cattle, cow and etc., they have feet. So they come and eat that. Yesterday I was sharing with Swamiji that everything here in this creation, everything is a food, anna. And everything also eats. So everything is anna, the food, and everything is eater also, that eats. So the cow comes and eats the grass, because it has no feet, it cannot move. So normally what happens if a cat and a rat is there, the rat will see the cat, immediately it will start running. So if Brahma has provided feet to the grass, what will happen, you see? The moment the cow comes, it will run, and the cow has to chase it actually. So I have created certain things without feet. They form the food for those which have got feet. The cattle come and eat actually. And those who have got feet, they are the food for those who have got hand. Hand does not mean human beings, hand means wild animals. The lion, tiger, those, although they have tiryak, horizontal beings, they use their front leg as hand actually. They will tear like this. The tiger will catch hold like this and carry it like this. The cow cannot carry. Although they are quadrupeds, they are as good as the bipeds, because they use their front legs like a hand. So those who have no feet, they form the food for those things which have got feet. And those who have got feet, they form the food for those who have got hand. So this cycle I have made. Suppose if you eliminate these plants, what will happen? Then the quadrupeds cannot survive. If the quadrupeds cannot survive, the other will not survive. The bipeds cannot survive. So this cycle, there is a link actually. If you remove one link, then everything is lost. So this is the story he says actually. Likewise here, everything is connected to everything here. Don't think that we are independent. We are independent. At the same time, we are interdependent. And we are dependent. So everything here is dependent, independent, and interdependent. So this we should always recognize it. We want to be independent. At the same time, you realize you are dependent on other things here, without which you cannot survive. And they also depend on us. So we are independent, dependent, and interdependent. Recognizing this, all our activities should be governed by this. This is what the cosmic law actually. Cosmic law says everything here is interconnected. It is an organic whole. You have got a place. At the same time, everything has got a place here. Everything has got to remain here only. So as you are here, the other thing is also here. It coexists with you. To what extent you are able to accept that coexistence? To what extent you feel you are one with everything here? Do we recognize the other things as part and parcel of us? We belong to the whole. Equally so, the others also belong to us. So we are intimately connected to each other. So this is actually the Ṛtam. Ṛtam is actually the understanding of the interconnectedness. That is actually the Ṛtam. You know, there is a mantra we usually chant. The first, because of the age. Urdhvan jigad beshajam, how it starts? Urdhvan jigad beshajam jamno astu dvipat. Tachayyoravranemahe gatum yajnaya gatum yajnapataye devi swastirastuna swastirmanushebhya urdhvan jigad beshajam Sanno Atudvipate Chatushpate. Chatushpate, that means actually, that mantra only comes here as Urdhvan Jugad Beshajam. Urdhvan Jugad Beshajam means what? All this flora, let there be rich flora. Then let there be rich fauna. And then for the human beings also, that there be prosperity for human beings. So this is what actually the mantra. This mantra is carried into the story. This is the story of the Prachetas. So the interconnectedness of this, of our, how far we are able to feel that is actually the Rita actually. So later on, so this Rita is also considered as Dharma actually. Later on, this also, yesterday Swamiji was also mentioning, Buddha has introduced, I do not know whether it is, that this accepting this universal or cosmic order, universal order, that is very, very subtle actually. So that has to percolate, it has to come down to our day-to-day life actually. When it comes to day-to-day life, then it becomes the Dharma actually. The other thing is told as the Satya and the Rita, and it's almost they go hand in hand. Satyam vadishyami, Ṛtam vadishyami, tanmam avatu. So Satya, the absolute truth, and the relative truth. The relative truth is when it manifests, when the absolute has, if you can use the word manifest. So if the absolute, when it comes to the level of manifest, then there will be the order should be there. So there's this cosmic order should be there. There should be certain law. So while we don't forget that we are that absolute truth, then when it comes to the manifest level, relative level, from the absolute level, when we come to the relative level, from the vyavahara, then this concept has to be there always, when in all our actions, behind all our actions, this absolute knowledge should be there, and activity should be based on that actually. So there the importance of Rita comes, and then it percolates down to the level of Dharma. So what is ultimately Dharma? The Rita only has become Dharma. Rita means I will not disturb anyone to make myself happy. While I earn my happiness, I will not deprive the other person of his happiness or her happiness. So that only forms the basis for all these things. Then the one step further, I shall try to make the other person happy at my expense. Why should there be compassion? Why there should be compassion? The human level. Supposing an ant dies and another ant will not have compassion. Another ant will not go and you are my wife, my son, my daughter, my father. No such a relationship is there. I do not know whether they have or not. But as far as we know, they will eat. The dog will eat its baby. Someday the cat and they will eat their own. But whereas a human, they will not do like that. So we have compassion. Why there should be compassion actually? Why we want to help other people? And on the contrary to that, when you do something wrong to another person, then later on, having done that, you feel that I have done something wrong. And there is a conscious prick is there. People do wrong thing. And later on they go and say that we feel bad about it. And confess. And sometimes it affects them very much. Even the worst criminals, they will go and confess. In a fit of anger, we do something. When the anger subsides, then we say, sorry for that. Sometimes the criminals, sometimes people in a fit of anger, they kill somebody or do something. And then when the anger subsides, then they go and tell the police that I have done such and such a thing. Why should we do it? So it is already inherent in us actually. The Dharma Bodha is inherent in us. Ṛtam is inherent in us as your Antaratma is the supreme reality. That Dharma Bodha is also inherent in everyone. Even the worst criminal will have sometimes Dharma Bodha. You now imagine like this. We in anger, you scold someone and someone is witnessing that. He will feel that you are doing wrong thing. While because of my anger, I may not feel that, because the anger deprives me of that my analysis. The anger is not permitting me to rationally think about it. So the other person says, you what you did was wrong. We also feel sometimes that we have done wrong things. So why this Dharma Bodha is there? From where you got it actually? So it is part and parcel of our own personality. Nobody wants to be a criminal actually, unless he's a psychopath. Or the desire makes us to do that. So in the prayers, morning prayers, Sandhyavandana, there is every day the Brahmin boys are asked to repeat one mantra. I do not know how it is here. Kamo karishiti manyura karishit. Naham karta kamah karta. Kamo akarishiti manyura karishit. Left to myself, I would not have done all these things. The desire made me to do this. The anger made me to do this. And there is a famous sloka which many of you may be knowing from the Mahabharata. Janami dharmam najame pravritti. Janami adharmam najame nivritti. Then he puts the blame on Bhagavan. Kenavi. That is not correct. Kamo karishit manyura karishit.
Upanishads also put the blame on Swayambhu.
Oh, Paranchigani. Swayambhu.
Tantra puts the blame on Mahamaya.
So the Dharma Bodha actually, it is Dharma Bodha is there, and that is ultimately the Upadesha actually. When you may be knowing that when three people, the Asura, the human, and the Devatas, they all go to Brahma, and Upadesha was nothing. He asked them to remain for quite some time. Sit down and be quiet for some time. And finally he says, Da. Dana, Daya, and Dhamma. And in all our rituals, whatever be the ritual, these things are compulsory. Whether it is Shraddha, whether it is Upanayana, whether it is marriage, whatever it is, charity is part of that. Without charity, there is no. And you have to follow certain regulations. You have to take bath, fasting, and all these things. And when you go to higher levels of rituals, yajnas, then they have to remain for 6 days without sleep. This Agni Chayana, the rituals, the karta, the yajamana has to remain 6 days. Then the butter will be applied on his body. And he should not do like this. When there will be ant, so then there will be a stick will be there. That stick he has to do that. And certain days he should fast. Certain days only certain items you can take. In the morning I want coffee, tea, nothing is possible. So why all these things actually? So why this we should practice dana, dharma, and etc. Why should they be there? Accepting the other as part of you. You try to make the other person happy. You try to make the other person happy. I want to be happy. I recognize you also want to be happy. I will make you happy at my expense. Tyagene amritatva manasya. This tyaga is what for actually? Amritatva is actually the happiness, ultimate happiness, the happiness, everlasting happiness. What is ultimately this realization? Paramananda prapti. So ananda prapti is there now also. The degree of ananda only increases. Sometimes these Vedantins may not agree totally. Laukika ananda and Paramananda, Shanti, what we have now, and that Shantoyam Atma, that Shanti, whether they have are they independent? This Shanti is independent, this Shanti is independent. Or the quality of that Shanti has increased. Those questions are there, I'm a little afraid you may all have certain convictions. So I just place all these ideas before you. So that Shanti, we have now that Shanti, the quality of the Shanti will be boosted up to have that Paramanand, what do you call that? Shantoyam Atma, that Parama Shanti, ultimate Shanti. And the quality of the Ananda has to be improved actually. The Ananda will get more and more pure. Without anything, the child's Ananda. So later on, in the Upanishad also say, Pandityam Parititya Balyena Tishtasi. So as a child, when it smiles, the Paramananda is there. So the Ṛtam is actually the natural law in our mind. It is not the law imposed by any from outside actually. It is there is a natural law, there is a natural justice actually. So this La Dada was the subject of Eliot also. Eliot, who got the award for this, the Voice of the Thunder, that he got the Nobel award he got for his literary work. The subject matter dealt with this only. Probably he might not be knowing this, what is there in the Upanishads. So the goodness in every one of us, from where it has come. I used to wonder like this. The small children, maybe sometimes we go to some houses and we have also seen a small baby is there. Then that baby, we give chocolate, another baby is there, you give the chocolate to the other baby. They say one baby is asked to give to another baby. So that boy or girl, he will not be willing. No, I will not give with him. The parents wants this fellow to give, but he will not. He will say no. Then you might have seen. I have also seen many times. You are a good boy. You give. You are a good boy. You give. They will say. Keep on telling there. You are a good boy. You give. Then sometimes he will give. Okay. Huh? Your mother might have told you like this. Your father have told you like this. So, it is a reminder of your goodness actually. You are good. Why should the rishis call, hey Saumya? Hey Murkha, why they did not call? Hey Saumya. So, you are reminding of that actually. You are basically good. Blessed Atman, blessed divinities, ye. Why should we call blessed Atman? We don't call anybody as you sinner, you bloody fool. We don't call like that actually. You are all stupid fellows and it is my prarabdha that I have to teach you. No teacher tells like that. Hey Saumya. Why it is told like that? So, they accept that goodness in us. You are basically good because you are Atma Swarupa. Bhagavan's Swarupa only. Even in Christianity also, they call it as Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us. When we say Bhagavan is omnipresent, Sarvavyapi. Sarvavyapi means should be there in everything, in the good and the bad. The good and the bad are relative. Good and the bad are relative. Good and bad coexist. I usually give an example like this. Suppose you have a magnetic piece, a magnet like this. That magnet, one end is North Pole and the other end is South Pole. This end is North Pole, this end is South Pole. Suppose, so the other side is North, this is South. So suppose if you cut it in the center, so if you cut it in the center, here you cut. This becomes the South Pole, that becomes the North Pole. In the other piece, the molecule that was just behind that becomes the North Pole, which you consider as South. Suppose if you cut it here, this is South, it becomes North, this is South. And for this piece, this is North, this is South. So the North Pole and the South Pole are contiguous. The North Pole and South Pole coexist. So that goodness is there in us. Badness is also there. The good and bad both are relative. So initially, we want to tap that goodness actually, because that lies dormant and because the desire and anger, avidya kama karma, the kama karma makes it tops the bad actually. So the Ṛtam works as to bring out the goodness in you. Ṛtam is the cosmic law which helps us to initially to boost the goodness and ultimately to go beyond the good and the bad. So in the Mahabharata there is a sloka which says, Tyaja dharmam adharmam. You go beyond dharma and adharma. With what you go beyond dharma and adharma? Tena tyajasi tatyajan. So the accepting that cosmic order and understanding that and adjusting our life to be in harmony with everything here, so that we will be able to go beyond this dharma and adharma. That is the content of the Samhita portion of the Vedas. That is what I feel, and some other examples are there. It is not coming in my memory also. So whatever that came in my mind, I shared with you, and my time is over, I think. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Dependent, interdependent and independent. So I am wondering, is it possible to be independent in this bodily presence? Let the body be subtle or gross.
Certain independent ideas are there by the wish. Independent ideas, you are independent. You are dependent, you understand. So you are not fully dependent. You are not 100% dependent. So you are independent also. You are sitting independently now. Ideas are independent. Your ideas are independent. So dependence is there, independence is also there. Interdependence, we want somebody to help us. And sometimes we help ourselves.
And you quote that mantra, Kamo Karshit, Manyura Karshit. So, what is the essence of that? The portion Kamah Karayita. Kamah Karta, then Naham Karta. Then it says Kamah Karayita. So, what is Kamah Karayita? Why?
Karayita means the cause for doing that.
Then why this Kamah Karta?
It does it also. That makes it, they give an emphasis for that actually. They explain it in different ways actually. Sometimes an idea is repeated different times. There will be a shade of difference will be there. When you even give you synonyms, there will be a shade of difference also. These are all to convey a particular idea. And each one understands in their own way actually. The Shabda, when it is used, how you understand it depends upon how you have conceived it actually. So any Shabda, when you communicate actually, you don't understand from the Shabda, you already know about it. So you relate that with the Shabda and understand. Maybe the Vajakaranas may differ actually, but when I say glass, what you understand by glass is, I can't understand actually. Okay.
Vajakaranas don't differ. They also say that Nasanti Paryaya Shabdaha. Every word has different meaning. Aditya is not a synonym for Surya.
So the Vajakaranas say different actually.
I think that Karayita thing, the Kama Karayita, Manyu Karayita, the Manyu or the Kama may induce some of the Indriyas, the body, the mind, the thoughts, etc. So that may be the impelling force which makes the Indriyas also to function that way. Suppose I get very angry. Normally I shake hands with you. Manyu induces me to slap you. So Manyu is the Karana, Manyu is the cause which impels your senses and the body and the mind, etc. and your vak. Sometimes you get very angry, use such bad words. Normal circumstances, my vak would not have done that. But Manyu is inducing me to do it. Manyu Karta, Manyu does, and Manyu also uses all my Indriyas and the mind and my vak, etc. to do that act. Kama Karta, Naham Karta, Manyu Karta, Naham Karta, then Manyu Karayita, Naham Karayita.
But this part mantra is not there. Mantra is only this one. Yes. Namo Karayita, Manyu Karayita, Namo Namaha.
No, the mantra is there, brother.
Mantra is there, but for practice it is not there. That is there.
No, we were asked to repeat the mantra. Every day that the japa will be No, we have done. We were asked to do it 108 times as children, as 5-year-old child. 108 times with Samit. Kamo karshe en namo nama, kamak karo janaham karomi, kamak karta naham karta, manyuk karta, kamak karayita naham karayita, eshade kama kama yaswaha. And the whole thing I had to repeat 108 times. Now I am understanding slowly the significance of that. Actually, you disown your senses and you disown your kama and krodha. See, the yoga wants you to control them. Yoga is always for control, nirodha. But the difficulty is you can't go do nirodha, but the kama and krodha are overpowering you. So where is the question of nirodha? Papam charati purusha anichannapi. And also Bhagavan also says there in one place, Gita 3:33, Sadrisham cheshate swasya prakriti jnanavanavi prakritim janti bhutani nigraha kinkarishyati. Your control also will not help you. There Shankara, either humorously or seriously, we do not know. I asked so many pandits. There is only one line bhashya. Nigraha kinkarishati mamava anyasyava. I am the Parameshwara, but Prakriti is not obeying me also. What can you poor fellow do? That means there comes a time in which you are helpless. You say, in spite of myself I did it. When a criminal acts, I don't know why I did it, I don't know how I did it. This is a kama karayita. Manu was taken up. So one way is the is nirodha, control anger, control kama, etc. The another is Vedantic way, you simply disown it is not mine. Kama did it, I have nothing to do with this. The disowning of all the negativity will automatically generate in you the positive feelings. When we get anger, etc., we get identified with anger. So if you disown it as not yours, that's a higher sadhana of complete rejecting anger as belong to Prakriti. Anger belongs to your mind, anger belongs to your senses. And I am beyond all this, I have nothing to do with this. So the disowning it and rising above Prakriti, once and for all solves the problem. In yoga, every little thing you have to keep on doing it. Vedanta says complete, the Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter, the second chapter, last two verses. The penultimate and the earlier one. One is, Apuryamana Machala Pratishtham Samudram apa pravishanti tadvat kama yam pravishanti. He says, invite kama, come on, come here and pravishanti. Because I am the infinite ocean, what can you do to me? The next verse, vihaya kama anyasarvan, that is the yogic method. You reject, but you cannot reject it so easily because it overpowers you. That's why Bhagavan, Arjuna asks him, anichannipa varshnaya baladeva niyojita. Then he says, then he says, Kamayesha Krodayesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapna Vidhena Mahavirinam. There's a joke in this context. In Bengal, O is pronounced as O. They'll say pronam. So a person was chanting Kamayesha Krodayesha Rajoguna Samudbhava. Then Bhuteshanandama said, Jachi Tati Shamlati Parchishna Dakchish Kerure Baba. In Bengal, Esha is pronounced as Esho sometimes. Esho means come. You kama, you come. Then Bhuteshananda Maharaj, our illustrious president, he said, what you have already are unable to manage, why do you invite? But here is the invitation. The kama comes, let it come. All the kamas, like Apuryamana Bachara Pradesha, let them merge in me. What can you do to me? So in Vedanta, you always identify yourself the infinite spirit. And all this belongs to Prakriti. That's one simple way of solving the problem at one stroke. In yoga, if Prakriti is real, you go on tackling the Prakriti all the time. All the good qualities, you are deriving from Prakriti. Vedanta is already there within you. Atman is full of all the qualities. So only manifests you.
In Buddhism, we have this idea of pratitya samutpada, where it is shown that everything is causally connected. As you were saying that you were explaining the food chain, how the lower animals feed on higher animals and then the higher animals still on higher animals, and this is how this entire pyramid is being maintained. So I was just having this idea, this in Buddhism also we have this idea of this interconnectivity of different lives. It is actually resting on this fundamental doctrine, which is the doctrine of dependent origination or pratitya samutpada, which says that everything originates due to a cause, and when the cause is not there, automatically the effect also it degenerates. So as in case the effect, when it is originating, since it is dependent on the cause, it does not have its own independent state of existence. And this is how this effect is also letting the origination of the another something, this effect then becomes a cause. When it generates another thing, then it becomes the cause of the next thing, which is again the effect. And this is how this chain is going on. And in respect of this interdependence, and everything is interdependent, when we just move or we look back, we see this effect has been cause of something, that cause has been again still cause of the another, and this is how this entire circuit has been woven. So there is interconnectivity, there is dependence, state of existence, because each state is dependent on the state which is before it. And the state of the independence that we are talking, that is also somehow the idea comes in Buddhism of the ability to produce an effect. The cause has the ability to produce an effect. So this is, but it does not understand, but there we do not understand its ability, because the moment that cause produces the effect, it is the next moment we go. That is every kalpa, this is being explained in that way, that is the cause is producing that effect, but the moment it is being produced, this is no more than that moment present, it is, you move to the next moment. So this is how the capacity to produce an object, capacity to produce an effect, this is how it is explained that an object has an independent state, but that not an independent in that state, that in that sense that it is independent of everything, it is dependent of all the conditions prior to it. There is a very good example given by a Zen Buddhist as to state how this interdependence is the law of the creation. He explains with a piece of paper. He explains that when we look into the paper, where it is coming from, where it has its origin, we look back from where this paper has come to the some timber woods from where this paper has come, and again if we look back again to its original source, we find it was there in the gardener. The gardener was being has sown the seed there, he has been watering the plant, and that is how this timber, this entire wood has grown. So this is how when we look actually in the paper, we find that it includes in it everything which is paperlessness of an object, because it includes within it the entire cosmos. So this is how the paper is actually having the paperlessness or the niswabhavata of the paper, because it includes every other content of the universe other than the paper. So this is how we are embracing everything, also in the idea of Buddhism, which is the pratitya samutpada.
This Nisvabhavatva is what Nagarjuna called the Shunyata. Shunyata. And this Nisvabhavatva generates Karuna, Mahakaruna. Because you cannot have any independent Swabhava of your own, except in so far you are connected to the entire universe. So in that sense you are obligated to the whole universe for your own existence. So that is the idea of Yajna, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, etc.
Let us not go into theories, our simple understanding, because whatever you learn, if that is not assimilated, that knowledge is not assimilated, two things are there. One is knowledge and the degree of absorption of the knowledge. Suppose if somebody says, we have all been, Vivekananda Swamiji raises this question actually. Every parent has told their children that you speak the truth. The parent has told this, you should speak Satyam Vada. Every parent has told the children, but the child has not understood it. When he grows, he will say it to his son. So, whatever we hear, whatever we understand, study and understand, that is a knowledge, it's an information level. So it is an information. That information may not be of any use to us, because it will remain only as an information. Like Satyam Vada. Satyam Vada is an information. And Satyam Vada, Shastra has told it. Are we doing it? We may not be doing it also. So the other thing is actually the absorption of that knowledge. It also happens. So many of us do not, we have generally we speak truth. We don't do wrong things. Why? That knowledge has been absorbed actually. So the contemplation, the manana aspect, I am that supreme reality, I'm part and parcel of that God, I am that. That when manana, it from information level it transcends to the level of absorption actually. I give another example. So potassium cyanide is a dangerous poison. If you consume it, you will die. That we have not tested. This is potassium cyanide, you please eat. You will not eat. but Satyam Bada, that won't work. The diabetic patients are told sugar is a poison, don't take it. But they will take it. Little, because that has not, the information has not been absorbed. It has not gone into the knowledge level actually. So two things are there. One is the information level, knowledge at the information level. Knowledge which is absorbed actually. So we actually to think all these things from the worldly level to how we can absorb that knowledge. So when I said this independence, etc., this I do not know. That is perfectly okay. But if it is can be absorbed. For ordinary person, we say, you are depending on your mother for your morning. I want food. Sriram Swamiji, can I get this? I will ask him. So I am dependent on him. Swamiji, can you get me a little coffee now? I am dependent on him. Simple thing actually. So we are dependent on everybody, you know. If the scavenger doesn't come, then we will be in trouble. So that is not, we are depending on so many things here. We are depending on the air, we are depending on the cloth. If it is cold, you want this. Even small dependence is there. And somebody is depending on us also. So we are interconnected, you know. In a family also, without a family you cannot live actually. If nobody is here, how will you live? All comforts I provide, you be here. You should not move out of this room. You be here. Whatever you want, it will be provided. It is not possible. So there is in our ashram, in one of our outside ashram, they constructed a room for Mauna room. What is that called? Mauna Mandir. Nobody went inside and stayed. And there are then in Gujarat, that is motto from Swamiji has constructed Mauna Mandir. They say I want to stay there for 1 month. They will go and stay there, and then it is closed room and food will be served. The 2 doors are there. They will keep the food there and close the door and go. You have to open the door and take it. So some people said that I will stay there for 10 days, 1 month like that. Second day they will please open the door. This is locked. Please open the door. I cannot remain here. So if you are asked to remain in silence, you just imagine what will happen. More than 3 days, 4 days, you cannot remain because you will go mad actually.
But with the mobile you can continue.
No, mobile also, no, it may not be possible for long. For some days it is okay. Mobile you get fed up also.
That is Corona period.
But somebody is there to interact. I will interact with you at least.
With video calls you can.
That is not possible. Call should not be there. So in the Second World War time, what they made was like a font kiosk. Like that they made. And then to watch the movement of the submarines those days, the kiosk they put into the sea. It will go and settle in the ground. And any movement of the ship it will find out. Now there are other instruments are there. So then they in the kiosk they will go and sit there and watch the waves they find out. There are some signals which helps to know the movement of the submarines. So they will communicate. For that post, highly paid, but nobody was willing actually, because he has to remain alone. Now in the spaceship also 2-3 people are there. 2-3 people means okay. If you are alone, Either you will go mad or you will get realization. Aurobindo got realization because in that cell he was there alone, in the dark cell where there was no light. Others will go mad. So one way they realized the people and then they compare this mad and compare. So that we have dependence also. So we understand that. And then we are this. So I am dependent on this world here. I am dependent on the water. I am dependent on the air. I am dependent on so many other things, fire, everything. So we understand that and adjust our life as a sense of gratitude. So in the Ramayana also when dharmajnascha kritajnascha. So dharma is followed by kritajna, sense of gratitude. I am able to live here comfortably because so many things are made available to me, which I have not created. I have not earned. So many things are. So that sense of gratitude and then the sense of feeling for others. So that is my thought actually. I may not be fully correct. So this is some explanations I give as it comes as I.
In Vivarana school of Vedanta, there are three sattvas: Paramarthika, Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika. If there is any similarities between the concept of Vyavaharika sattva and Ṛtam?
No, I have not thought like that actually. These are my independent thoughts. I don't want to connect it there. Connection you can give or may be able to give or may not be able to give. So we don't, a set of theories I have not connected that. Certain facts I have taken and my contemplation on that. My contemplation, what I feel about it actually. Even this Paramarthik Satya, Vyavaharika Satya, all these explanations are given by Mahatmas. It is their thoughts actually. Similarly, there are some other thoughts are there, that is why there is contradiction. Or there are variations. Sometimes it contradicts, sometimes there are variations also. If you read the Sri Bhashya, that gives a more clarity on Shankara Bhashya then. Advaita Vedanta is very well explained by him in his preamble, so that we can understand what is Advaita Vedanta much more than easier than that. So likewise actually when we finally we understand Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya or ultimately we are the Ishvara, Bhagavan is there everywhere or Bhagavan Sarvavyapi, that alone is there. So how I can connect that idea, how I can absorb that idea, how it becomes my personal knowledge. Instead of remaining at the information level, how I will be able to absorb that information, how I will be able to live that. That was the idea and why I am talking to you also. So how you will be able to absorb that idea. So that is what is called yoga according to our Swami Krishnananda. The degree of absorption of the knowledge. Vedanta gives the knowledge and the degree of absorption of that knowledge is yoga. So about yoga vidya.
Actually, this is the idea of yajna as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, third and fourth chapter. And he goes till to 18 chapters. Yajnadhartava karma natyajyam, etc. That means the whole thing is connected. You receive something from nature, you give back to it. Tairdattan apradayebhyo yobhungte stena eva sa, he says. So we will close with one quotation by Einstein, the famous quotation. 100 times a day I remind myself that my life depends upon the labors of other men, living and dead, and that I should give in the same measure as I have received, and I am still receiving. He says, if you don't give back, the circuit is not closed, then you become a kind of stena eva saha. So we are so thankful to Swami Padmanabhanandaji for his excellent, simple presentation which is practical and workable. Ultimately, all the spiritual truths has to be lived and practiced in everyday life. Otherwise, they'll simply remain as theories. So we are so happy you explained it spontaneously, naturally, and very simply also, because the theorists have built so many theories. Ultimately, it has to be worked and practiced. Swami Tapasyanand used to say that you can understand Advaita, Shankara's Advaita, much better and much easier by reading Ramanuja's Purvapaksha. And if you want to understand Buddhism, read Shankara's Purvapaksha. Because they have absorbed the knowledge towards the opposite. Actually, the same power comes as Shankara, Ramanuja, etc. for Yuga Prayojana according to that particular age. So, Swamiji, we are so happy. Now, Japasiddhananda will give a small vote of thanks. Under these ideas also, you can say a few words and close.
पूज्यपादैः पद्मनाभानंद स्वामिभिः ऋतम् इति तत्वस्य विषये अत्यन्तं सरसं सरलं च प्रतिपादितं। भाष्येषु शास्त्रेषु विविधान् विचारान् वयं प्राप्नुमः, किन्तु तानि तत्त्वानि सर्वाणि अपि मनसि संस्थाप्य अस्माभिः अधुना किं कर्तव्यम् इति विषये बहु सम्यक् प्रतिपादितं तैः। किम् एवं ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि इति अस्मिन् मन्त्रे श्रीमद्भगवत्पादाचार्यैः तैत्तिरीयोपनिषदः शिक्षावल्याः आदौ एवमुच्यते, ऋतं वदिष्यामि इत्युक्ते यथा शास्त्रं यथा कर्म च बुद्ध्या निर्धारितं तत्त्वं ऋतं, तदेव तत्त्वं वाक्कायाभ्यां यदा सम्पाद्यते तत् सत्यं भवति इति तैः स्पष्टमुक्तं। तेन वयम् इदं ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः, बुद्धिस्तरे अथवा मनसि यद् तत्त्वं गृह्यते अस्माभिः तद् ऋतं, तद् वचसा प्रकाश्यते चेत् सत्यम्, आचारेण प्रकाश्यते चेत् धर्मः इति तात्पर्यतः प्राप्नुमः। किन्तु वेदेषु बहुविधाः अर्थाः आगच्छन्ति। यथा सायणाचार्यः आदित्यः इत्यपि अर्थं कृतवान्। अनन्तरं निरुक्तशास्त्रेषु ऋतमित्युदकनाम इत्यपि अस्ति, उदकमपि ऋतम् इति उच्यते। एवं बहवः अर्थाः भवन्ति। मनुस्मृतौ उञ्छशिलं ऋतम् इत्युक्तम्। इत्युक्ते क्षेत्रेषु यदा धान्यं संगृह्य अयं स्वामी नेष्यति स्वगृहं प्रति अथवा खलं प्रति वा, नीयमानस्य तस्य धान्यस्य मध्ये ये पुलकाः पतन्ति ते ऋतम् इति उच्यन्ते। कथं? कमपि अयाचित्वा कस्यापि क्षतिं न कृत्वा यद् अवशिष्टं तत् संगृहीतं खलु, तत्र मेधातिथि भाष्ये उच्यते इदं सत्यव्रततुल्यम् अन्नम् इति उच्यते। अस्तु, एवं तर्हि वयं ऋतशब्दस्य बहून् अर्थान् प्राप्नुमः। आम्, कर्मफलम् इत्यपि ऋतं पिबन्तौ सुकृतस्य लोके इत्यत्र ऋतं सत्यम् अवश्यं भावित्वात् कर्मफलम् इति उच्यते। यथा सत्यम् अवश्यं भावि, अमरकारेणापि उच्यते सत्यं तथ्यं ऋतं सम्यग् इति अमरकोशकारेण उक्तं। सत्यं तथ्यं ऋतम् इति शब्दत्रयं। सत्यं सति साधु इत्युक्ते सज्जनेषु यत् साधु तद् सत्यम् इति यत् प्रत्ययः तत्र साधुः इति सूत्रेण। ऋतम् इत्यत्र ऋगतिप्रापणयोः इति भ्वादिगणीयः धातुः अयं। तत्र तप्रत्ययः निष्ठाप्रत्ययः क्रियते, तेन ऋतम् इत्युक्ते अर्यते। ऋधातु कर्तरि ऋच्छति, कर्मणि अर्यते, अर्यते गम्यते प्राप्यते यत् तद् ऋतम् इति अमरकारेण उच्यते। एवं सन्ति अर्थाः। तत्र एवम् अस्ति, नारायणसूक्तम् इति प्रसिद्धं महानारायणोपनिषदि तैत्तिरीय आरण्यके ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलं तत्र सायणाचार्यः एवं वदति, सत्यं द्विविधं, व्यावहारिकं पारमार्थिकं। व्यावहारिकं हिरण्यगर्भादिरूपं, पारमार्थिकं सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तम् आत्यन्तिकं तत्त्वम्। अधुना केवलं सत्यमिति उक्ते सति व्यावहारिकस्य हिरण्यगर्भस्यापि ग्रहणं स्यात्। तन्निवारणार्थं विशेष्यते ऋतगं सत्यम् इति। तर्हि ऋतम् इत्युक्ते अत्यन्तं सत्यं यद् ब्रह्म इति एवं सायणाचार्यस्य भाष्यं विद्यते। सत्यम् आम्, तत्र किम् उच्यते, तत्र वस्तुतः हगुंसशुचिषद्वसुरन्तरिक्षसद्धोतावे दिशदतिथिर्दुरो नसत् नृषद्वरसदृतसद्व्योमसदब्जा गोजा ऋतजा अद्रिजा ऋतं बृहत्। अस्मिन् मन्त्रे अयं विशेषः त्रिः पठ्यते ऋतशब्दः। ऋतसत् इत्यत्र ऋते यज्ञे सत्ये वा सीदति इति ऋतसत् इत्युक्ते यज्ञे यत् तिष्ठति तत्त्वं तद् ऋतसत्। ऋतजाः इत्यत्रापि तथा, ऋतं यज्ञः, जाः ततः जाताः। किं जातं? यज्ञ अङ्गानि, यज्ञस्य प्रयाजः अनुयाजः इत्यादयः यावन्ति अङ्गानि भवन्ति तानि सर्वाणि अपि यज्ञात् जायन्ते इति कृत्वा ऋतजाः इत्युक्तं। पुनः अन्ते ऋतं बृहत् इत्यत्र किम् आयातं? ऋतं सत्यं तच्च बृहत्, बृहद् इत्यनेन ब्रह्म विवक्षितं। ब्रह्मशब्दस्य अर्थः एव बृहदिति। बृहिवृद्धौ इति धातोः ब्रह्मेर्नो अच्छ इति सूत्रेण ब्रह्मशब्दः निष्पद्यते। तर्हि ब्रह्म बृहत्, ऋतगं सत्यम् इत्यत्र ब्रह्मवाची अयं ऋतशब्दः इति एकस्मिन् मन्त्रे त्रिधा प्रयुक्तः दृश्यते। एवं स्वामिचरणेभ्यः सश्रद्धं प्रणामान् निवेदयामः। इयं सभा शान्तिमन्त्रपाठेन समाप्यते, सर्वैः सम्भूय पठ्यते। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ तत्सत्। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
यथाग्निर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्या स्वरूपान्ता सा